Over the past couple of years, there's been a real recognition that you cannot do anything in life well without looking after yourself first. So why do people still tie self-care and selfish into the same group? Is self-care selfish? There's no doubt that to give your best self, to be your best parent, to be your best partner, to be a best friend, to be a great colleague, you have to be doing some form of self-care practice to enable that to shine through. So let's dive deeper into self-care and selfishness to really figure out the truth once and for all. Hey, it's Richard from the Conscious Life Collective. We help individuals and organizations reach and harness their full potential. Simply being because we believe fully that the world is better when you're living your most connected and authentic expression. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 10. Thank you for listening on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes. If you are getting a lot from these contents this week in, week out, and you're benefiting from it, then please leave a review below or leave a review in the podcast comments. We'd really appreciate it. And it's going to help more and more people to start to access this content. So today I'm going to discuss self-care and selfishness, and what does that mean? It might sound too good to be true, but there are so many tools available to us now to help us discover a deeper appreciation for our lives and the unique things that make us us. In this busy age of do more and be more, it's easy to feel not enough, and it's easy to feel that there are other things more important than taking care of ourselves. But the truth is, if we're not taking care of ourselves, everything else is going to just be thrown off. Self-care is a critical piece of our day-to-day. And I want to highlight an amazing quote that stands out to me by Daniel Schmachtenberger, who's the CEO of Neurohacker Collective. And he says, "I see no solutions of these chronic problems in the world that don't rest on the development of humans to have the cognitive, emotional, social, and volitional capacities to be able to be in service to that which they care most about and that which are most worthy of caring about." So the idea that we must begin to develop our own capacities across multiple domains for us to be ourselves. And to be able to do that requires self-care. That's the start point, self-care. I'm going to discuss the 5 stages of personal mastery in a bit. And stage 1 is self-care. But what is self-care and what is selfishness? And so self-care to us is about taking care of your own emotional, physical, and mental well-being for the good of yourself and the good of others. And this is where selfishness comes in. Selfishness is a direct lack of consideration for others, other people, or for the bigger perspective. So what else is going on in your community, in the world, in the climate change, or whatever it is you want to put into that. There's no regard for any of that. It's just me and my world, me and I, rather than the rest of us. And I think that's becoming made more and more evident in the polarization that's happening across the board in so many different contexts, whether that is climate change, whether that is what's happened in 2020, whether that is, how the different movements that are happening, we're all becoming polarized, and we're thinking too much of us and our world. We're not having any consideration, generally speaking, for what someone else's perspective is. And I think this is where self-care is crucial. It begins that process. It begins that awareness of opening horizons up. And cultivating greater self-care practices can improve everything from depression and anxiety to uncomfortable feelings, all the way through to states of dis-ease. And disease being, we are out of ease. We are moved away from our normal, natural baseline of health and vitality. And so many of these resources are at our disposal each day, every week. But we have to realize the potential and prioritize their practice before the magic can happen. And I think that's what I see so often. People start some practices of self-care and don't feel the benefits immediately right now and just drop off. And that's, that is the biggest mistake I see people making. There's no form of perspective. There's no form of looking ahead. And I think what I see more and more is lack of discipline. So many of us have got a lack of discipline to see things through. We can do things on the short term, but we don't see things through on the long term. And I think that's That lack of perspective leading back to that higher state is again one of the problems of why the world is the way it is. The inability to see past themselves, inability to see past a few days. That vision is missing. And so self-care is stage 1 of our 5-stage process towards personal mastery. And we've created our pathway to help you identify where you are right now and to kind of highlight where you are and where to work on, because that is the point. It gives stages, and it gives, when we're in each stage, which we're going to cover in a minute, specific things to focus on. And so let's break it down. So stage 1 we call the spark stage. And so this is a stage all about learning to be aware and trying new things. Typically, we see this stage, it's sparked by a life event, typically. So whether that's burnout, whether that's grief, whether that's a relationship breakup, whether that's poor health. There are so many others, but they're common ones. So there's been a moment in life that's made you lift your head up. And so the key part to remember of stage 1, the spark stage, is awareness. It's a beginning of awareness. Awareness, all of a sudden you're noticing life can be different. There are different choices here. And awareness of self-care. And so potentially you're beginning to practice various elements, but they're not ingrained yet. So you're practicing, they're uncomfortable, you're learning, you're not really feeling, you're feeling a bit of benefit, but not really. You're maybe feeling a bit uncomfortable, you're out of your comfort zone. You feel the benefit and then you slip off, and it still feels new, and you're potentially overwhelmed with this area. You're beginning to learn how to use your breath as a tool to change the way you feel. And you've checked out the 4 simple steps, and we've broken it down into key points. So you know you're in stage 1 if you've probably been through a life event that's made you question your life. You're looking for a new way of living life. You're motivated to take action and improve your mental and physical well-being. You're potentially overwhelmed with this space. You're beginning to try practices you've not done before, so breath work, nourishing movement, moving away from the high intensity stuff, and you're looking to look after your body, different nutrition choices, sleep practices. You're beginning to learn about mindset and what yours tends to be. And you're beginning to apply some of the steps in the 4 simple steps to self-care, which is a free guide available to you right now. Just go to consciouslifecollective.com/4 simple steps, or the link is in the bio below. And it's a framework and a map to follow to begin to help you apply and integrate these self-care practices into your life. So it's free for you right now. Learn how to ease chronic pain, learn how to switch into success mindset, learn 3 key nutritional changes you can make for better health, and with video lessons, with guided exercises. It's kind of really a wonderful guide put together that you can use right now, and it's free for you to download. So just click the link below and follow the instructions. Stage 2 is the glow stage. And this stage is all about opening your perspectives and feeling life change for you, not to you. This is potentially a high-performing stage as you're more energized, more integrated in life. You've got more of you back. You feel connected. You feel more. You have a self-dedicated practice. You have put it in place for 1 to 2 months of consistent practice. You're aware of how these positively affect you, and you also notice the effect on your mood when you miss some days. And it's a lifestyle for you now, becoming more and more habitual rather than effortful. So it's very, very natural. You're just in it, and you're really feeling the benefits. So the key points, you'll know you're in this stage if you have your daily practices locked in. So you have your breath, meditation, exposure to nature, your mindful movement, and your sleep hygiene. You've got those locked down. You're able to plug in with other people that are doing the same thing. So from maybe before, where you're hearing people talk about this stuff, you felt out of place. Now you feel completely part of it, and you have something to offer in those conversations. You feel ready, confident, and that you've got value to offer. You always have value to offer, but your perception of yourself is that you have value to offer in this space. You're now beginning to build awareness of what you eat and put into your body and how it affects you on multiple levels. So your nutrition, your exercise, the media you consume, you're aware of how all of that is beginning to affect you. Your mindset is shifting and opening towards a higher perspective of life. So you've got a growth outlook. Your health span is important to you as well as your lifespan. So we have a lifespan and we have a health span. And I think health span goes very forgotten about in today's society, whereas we want health span and lifespan to be as close to each other as possible. You're feeling good and different to how you're used to feeling. Others are starting to notice that. And it can feel great as well as disorientating because you're in a new you. You know how to use your breath as a tool and have the ability to manage yourself and stabilize yourself during stressful times. You have an awareness of using peak states such as flow and how that benefits you. So flow being one example of the peak state that takes us out of our minds, our monkey minds, and shows us something more, gives us access to a peace, that mind, our inner critic goes quiet, and we perform our best and we feel our best in those states. So that's stage 2. Stage 3 is the shadow stage. And this stage is all about ascending to higher perspective. So you're not just in the day-to-day, you're not just worried about the physical aspects, you're sensing more and beginning to tune into your intuitive side. So you're feeling more, you're trusting that feeling that you have within your body. You're not just in here in this endless hamster wheel of noise and of criticism and of doubt. You're sensing a few more ups and downs in your emotional landscape that you see it, but you don't quite understand it. You know you're a bit more wavery, you've got your practices down, so you feel like they've been working, but all of a sudden you're noticing larger changes in your emotional landscape. You're looking to understand your behaviors in your personal and professional life. So you're curious, you're wanting to understand why you do things the way you do them. And you're beginning to look at the roles you have and identify with. So if you go back to episode 8, we break that down in the myths and identities and roles that we live life by. And the link is below if you want to check that episode out. So you have a beginning to look at those roles and start to unpick them. And this can be uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable stage to be in, because you're confronting the older parts of you, you're confronting resistance, because we want to stay where we are. And our conscious is only a very small part of our world and our reality. Our unconscious behaviors drive a lot of our life. And so when we start to unpick those, it's uncomfortable and challenging at times. You're actively seeking to understand and unlock your limitations. You're purposely connecting to deeper, more profound states in a skilled way. So flow is a deeper state. You can access other non-ordinary states, and you can do that in a very skillful way that's going to show you more profound insights. So the key checkpoints to knowing that when you're in stage 3 is if you have the capacity to see you're getting stuck in old limiting beliefs. You're actively working to release these limiting beliefs. You skillfully use peak states to heal and let go of old ways of being and doing things. And it's very much a conscious process for you now. You're a little disorientated because of letting go of the old means that you're welcoming in new, and you need to establish new for you. You're learning to be kind to yourself and accepting what is. You may be having old friendships challenge or leave you. And you're growing and creating a new world for yourself, which means attracting new people and new friends into your life. So that's stage 3. Stage 4 is the shine stage. And this is all about maintaining elevated awareness. You can see what's going on when others around you are getting caught in drama, they're getting caught in drama and the old victimhood, the old type of conversations that you're so used to hearing, that we're all so used to hearing. And you've let go of some of those old ways, and you're now well on the way to integrating new ways that serve you better. This is where you become much more of an effective leader and partner in relationships. This is one of my favorite stages because it unlocks life so much. And what I love teaching this type of stuff in our conscious leadership program, because it just opens people's perspectives, and it's so empowering to step into this phase. The connection between your mind and body is getting much, much stronger. You're actually aware of when your physiology changes and of when you're being triggered. So rather than being caught up in the drama of being triggered and the stories that we tell ourselves, you're spotting. You can see it first in your body that you're getting triggered, and then you can intercept that. You intervene with skillful practices that work for you to lower that triggering, to intercept that trigger. And you have the capacity to interrupt intercept and self-author yourself. So kind of along the lines of that, you can decide what's happening in your life. You're not being drawn by drama. And your general presence affects those around you. You're aware of this and can create calm amongst others. Again, the leadership within it's a professional setting or a personal setting, you are becoming a beacon of calm. And so you know you're in stage 4 if you're practicing the 80-20 body-mind split, meaning that you're acutely aware of your physiology and when you're getting triggered, like I said. So you're 80% of the time in your body, you're effective and you're skillful at body scanning, and it just leaves 20% to be in your mind, and that 20% is used skillfully with very effective tools. You have the capacity to recenter yourself in real time. You're aware and understand how to communicate effectively. You're learning how to self-author your life effectively. You're aware of drama dynamics and can effectively steer yourself and others around you out of it. And not just that, you steer them out of it with grace. You effectively help lift the people close to you, both professionally and personally. You manage conflict really, really well, and you're setting clear boundaries for yourself and others. So they're really defining characteristics of stage 4, the shine stage. And finally, stage 5, the beacon stage. So this stage is all about leading the way for others. You're known as a leader. You embody all aspects from stage 1 to 4. You can skillfully navigate through each stage with great awareness. And you've achieved a great level of personal mastery, meaning that you balance rest, nutrition, movement, and mindset to be calmer, to be more resilient to stress, and you are now ready to show up in life as your best self. With the understanding that this is a life's work. These stages, it's not like you get to stage 5 and that's it. This is a life work, and you'll go back through, maybe you'll go back through just to 3, 4, 5, then back to 3, 4, 5. Maybe you'll go back to 2 and 3. But typically what we say, once you get to 5, you're then probably going to drift back into stage 3 because there's always more stuff to let go of. Whatever you do, you're doing it from a very authentic place. You're confident to speak your truth without fear of what others think of you. You're a visionary. You literally are a visionary for others and can offer others guidance on the path to personal mastery. And you're in some form of service of others. So whether that's teaching or guiding or whatever it is, people are looking to you. And so you know you're in stage 5 if you've planned your entire year around skillful access to peak states. Your daily and weekly practices are still on lock, but now you've added periodized peaks as part of your self-designed annual calendar. So you have your year plans, you have your daily and weekly practices that give you access to flow or non-ordinary states, but you also have your year planned out, and maybe there's some bigger experiences that you know how to use skillfully and that you use to step into yourself to show you the more of life so you can become even more your best version. You are fully aware which stage you operate in and understand that this is a life's work. You're aware of when you cycle through the different stages. You see that life happens for you, not to you. You self-author your life skillfully by habit now. So you determined what happens in your life. You're not a victimhood. You make informed decisions from researching effectively rather than making decisions based solely on what others tell you. So you're not jumping on the latest headline. You're not jumping on what you're being told to do necessarily. You now have the capacity, skillful capacity to research for yourself what the truth is and what the best course of direction is for you and for the people in your community. You're not being steered by what people are telling you now. Not to say you disregard what people tell you, but you can hold that and also make your own research to then build the main picture, the true picture of what's happening, a truer picture for you. And I think what happens so much, people get caught up in what others tell them. Again, you just have to look at this year, what all the different headlines that's been posted around, what you can do and what you can't do and what makes you safe. It's time to research for yourself and to hold that advice, but also to start to look at the truth, or do your own research to find out the truth for yourself and then put them together. What makes sense? You speak your truth authentically. You guide others in some form. You're highly intuitive and resonant, meaning that your feelings within your body you're tuned into, and it affects other people around you. And you just have to be around someone that's freaking out, that you pick up on that. And the same is calm. So you can maintain your balance and your center that affects other people around you now. And finally, people are drawn to you. So that's our 5 stages to personal mastery. I'm hoping that some of that resonates with you and you can start to identify now where maybe you are. Maybe you are more often. You'll probably go through different stages, but where are you right now maybe? What stage are you in right now? So to summarize, selfishness is a direct lack of consideration for others, whereas self-care is about taking care of your own emotional, physical, and mental well-being, not only for the good of yourself, but for the good of all. So you're showing up as your best version for the jobs and the roles that you inhabit. And so self-care is stage 1 of our 5-stage process towards personal mastery. And to remind you, there's a free download. Just click the link in the bio just below, and you get your free 4 simple steps to self-care. It's a roadmap to follow to lay out the foundation of self-care. And what you're going to learn in that is you're going to learn how to do mobility and yoga to ease your chronic pain. There are video tutorials for you to follow. You're going to learn how to shift into a success mindset. You'll learn how to get the best night's sleep you've had in ages, literally. You'll learn 3 quick wins on how to change your nutrition for better health. And finally, you're going to learn how to use your breath to calm your anxiety. So thank you again for listening. Really, really appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this episode or you enjoy the episodes and it's helping you, please can I ask that you leave a review below, or you leave a review in the podcast that you're listening on. It's just going to help more and more people access this content. So thank you again, episode 10. We'll see you next week on a new episode.